All right, so we got a list of 12 different types of pieces of content that you can use for your realtor or real estate business. These are some of the posts that are usually popular between real estate agents. And so I'm going to be ranking them from S tier all the way down to D tier. Obviously, D is the worst, S is the best. S is the best. There we go, baby. All of these obviously serve a different purpose and they can work. All of them can work, but some of them are just better than others. And you'll see what I'm talking about when I explain each one of these. Now, starting with testimonial, this can be either in the form of a post or a video testimonial. If you were to ask me which one I think works better, I think that is video. I believe video is king, and that comes with, I'm talking about all of these, all 12 of these. I believe video is usually going to be better than any type of graphic or just written post, anything like that, because video can reach more people and it's easier to target who you're actually looking for in your client. Testimonials, those are great. It actually shows great proof that you know what you're doing, but also great proof that you can get the job done at scale. And when people see proof of that, then they kind of want to work with you as well. It's just how the world works. You know, people see testimonials and they trust you more. And so this is kind of like a trust game. These testimonial videos or posts aren't necessarily to get you any traction or get you to go viral unless you're a Jayoma. If you know about Jayoma, then you know his testimonials are actually what drove a lot of his business, but it's a whole different ballgame, whole different story. Testimonial, I will put this in for the sake of getting clients, I think I'll put this in the B tier. It's always good to have good proof of what you're doing. And I think the main thing with those, and especially if they're done right, is the trust aspect of it. So again, it's not to get the most views or to get your page popping. No, this is more so just a, hey guys, look at me, look what I've done. Obviously not so snarky about it, but you know, showing people that, you know, you can do it, right? Next, buying, selling tips. Now, these, as boring as they are, I do see a lot of people doing these and they usually do not go well. I mean, they kind of flatline at around 100 views if you're doing, you know, short form content about it. If you are to do these, I believe they do work a little bit better when it comes to long form content, meaning your YouTube page or just posting long videos on like a LinkedIn or whatever that may be. The buying and selling tips, you have to actually package that video quite well for it to do well. But with this, you have to be very specific with it. And I just don't see them doing well. You know, I watch a lot of these videos and they're usually boring and they don't get a lot of traction, or, you know, something just, it doesn't go right with these videos. Obviously, they're good just to kind of show, you know, your educational side. But again, for getting clients or getting views or, you know, building your brand, it's not the best way to go about it just because everybody is talking about it. There's a million other realtors talking about the exact same thing when it comes to buying and selling tips. So I just wouldn't recommend this. And for that, I will put it in the C tier. Could go D, but just for the educational portion of it, these are kind of good. So next is selfie or day in the life post or videos. Now, obviously, these are not really real estate related, but it is more so to build your brand or to show people that you are personable. And for that reason, they are good. But what I see a lot of real estate agents do is they do too much of these. You know, it's too much. You know, they do a lot of, you know, selfies. Hey, look at me. It's all about me, 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 me. When real estate game is more about them, 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 them. And so your content, if it reflects that this is all about you and not them, then people will, you know, look at you exactly how you're portraying yourself. And so now, unless you have like pretty privilege, I see a lot of, you know, well, I'm not going to go there. Unless you have like some type of privilege when it comes to how you look and how you present yourself on social media, then this usually won't work well, and especially in terms of getting clients or just getting views in general. Day in the lives as well. Those are good. They show that you are personable and that you can connect with people on a human level. And it knocks off the, you know, persona, or not persona, the stigma that you're just a real estate agent trying to get a deal out of them. It shows that, hey, I'm a real person too, just like you. And so for that, you know, I'm not even gonna put a C tier. I'll actually put this D tier just because it's just it's pointless sometimes, you know, and it doesn't work unless, again, you have some type of gold mine going for yourself. But if you don't, then I just wouldn't recommend doing that. Now, next are skits. Now, it depends what type of skit we're talking about. These skits, or memes, I should say, they can do well. I would say skits are their gold mine when it comes to getting views and getting attention and traction onto your page and your face and your business. But it's what you do after those skits is what determines if you actually get a client or not. You know, some people, you don't want to be too entertaining, I'll say. Some people, if they see you for the entertainment portion, then they'll never look at you as a real, somebody who can represent them to the highest level, or somebody who they'd actually want to work with. Maybe they just look at you as somebody who's just entertaining to them. They like watching you because you're funny or you're good at what you do. But this is kind of like an iffy, especially if you're trying to get clientele. Obviously, I'd say this is like a good lead magnet. If you do skits as a lead magnet just to get people to your page and just to show people that you're funny, ha ha he he, and then get them to like you after they come to your page, I think it's great. If you do it like that, I think it's absolutely great. But it's when you make skits your whole personality and your whole business. And also, you got to think about maybe you're not catering to those ideal customers that you actually want to. Maybe these skits usually do land on, somebody who's not looking to buy, sell, or rent or invest or whatever. And maybe they land on like a 12-year-old kid's page and they just watch you for the entertainment. But then again, there is a method to that as well. That's like a whole nother layer that you got to unpack, because Ryan Serhant, he's a great example. He says, hey, we do all types of different content on all types of different platforms because you never know who's watching. Maybe that 12-year-old is watching. And then he goes and tells his parents about you as a real estate agent, and they use you sometime in the future. So it's kind of like an extremely layered thing. I'm not going to get into that. But for that, I say skits, if you're good at it, is a great lead magnet. But if not, if you're not catering to your audience after you post those skits, and if you're not doing it at a reasonable portion and not making it your whole personality, I'd say that can also go C tier. It can serve some good, but it's not the end all be all. Next is market updates. Now, again, this is one of those things, just like the buying and selling tips. Market updates, everybody does them, and the people who do them, they just aren't so good at them. It just depends how you package it. It depends how much you can get people's attention, how much they really care. And again, I also believe this is another one that works extremely well when it comes to long form videos instead of short form like your Instagram and TikToks. If you are somebody who's into market updates and you just love talking about those type of things, and you like to cater to that type of audience, then I will say you can find your audience and they will probably work with you sometime in the future, right? But market updates, in terms of getting views and building your brand, it's just not the best thing to go off of, especially if you are reliant on it. Because this just isn't a huge growth factor, but it is good when it comes to the education portion of things, and it shows people that you do know what you're talking about and that you are a trustworthy person. And so market updates, especially if done right, I will put this in the I'll actually put it in the B. I think it's a little bit better than the buying and selling tips, because that's something that you can actively, you can chat GBT that if you want. But market updates, that's kind of more specific, more personable. You can deep dive a little more into the educational portion of that. And some people are actually looking for those type of updates. And so if you find those people and you do it well, then that can actually work out. Now, property tour, and I just want to specify this. I know you see property tour and walkthrough tour. Those are two different things. I'm going to get into that once I get to this. But property tour, those are kind of like, you show the highlights of the home, or you're in the video and you're the one talking to the camera like this, whether that be vlog style or somebody recording you. And that's, you just walk through the property, show the property, and, it's kind of like a wow factor. Or you're just showing people what you're listing or trying to sell or whatever. And you do it in a interesting way, or a way that really, sits well with people or gains attention, right? So these property tours, if done right, can be extremely well and useful. I've seen it plenty of times. That's what most real estate agents do on their pages. Some hit it on the nail, some don't. But I believe in terms of growing a page, you will see a lot of people having that exponential growth when you see property tours on their page, because that's just what people like to watch. I don't really care who your ideal customer profile is. If you know how to do a property tour, then that's something that'll kind of always work. It's evergreen. People watch it even when that property is no longer there. Like, you can literally post a property tour of a house or whatever today, and in 3 years, if somebody sees that, that can be your client when they see it 3 years from now. So that's kind of like a evergreen type video. They're entertaining, they're educational. If you throw some education portions in there, I believe they're great. I'll put that in the A tier. Do property tours. Next is dancing or memes. Now, dancing or memes, man, do I have a love-hate relationship with this one. More so hate. I don't believe you need to dance in order to get clients. I do not believe that. But I don't think a lot of people know that. They think that when it comes to social media, you need to entertain people, and whether that be dancing or posting a meme or trying to entertain folks like that. I just don't think people hit it on the nail as often as they'd like to when it comes to this. Now, can you go viral by dancing or by posting a meme? Absolutely, you can. I've seen it plenty of times. Will you get clients? Probably not. It's one of those things. Again, you have to really cater to your audience after you post or before you post those type of videos, because if they click on your page after you went viral for dancing in the house or whatever, and they see nothing but dancing videos, then they're probably not going to be intrigued to really work with you over that guy down the street who's posting about market updates or posting the testimonials. Not really much to gain out of dancing or posting memes unless you know what you're doing. And if you're catering to your audience in different ways, then in that case it's sort of different. But usually people don't do that. Plus, the dancing videos, they just aren't that good, especially if you don't know how to dance. And so if you don't know how to dance, or if you don't know how to make a funny meme, then I just leave it alone. It might end up on a person's feed that you don't want that person to see, like a 12-year-old kid. Just be careful with this one. And for that reason, I would put this, man, I'd put it at the D tier, But not to say it doesn't work or can't work, because I've seen, a lot of real estate agents actually make this work and make that their personality, but it is far and few between. Just be careful with that one, I'd say. Now, production videos. What I mean by production videos, and you can see the little, popcorn symbol right there. It's those highly edited, those extremely well done property tours, I should say. Sometimes they aren't property tours. Sometimes they're just like, hey, look at me, I'm your realtor. Come by for me. Those highly edited videos that you see, and you're like, wow, who is your editor? Yeah, those type of videos. Now, those are great, especially for garnering attention. Those are absolutely fantastic if you want all the attention in the world. But again, those, well, for one, I'll say this. Sometimes, usually, no, not sometimes, and most of the time, I see more realtors commenting, wow, this is cool, than actual potential clients, the general public. I see more realtors and real estate agents in their comments or in their likes rather than their ideal clients who they're trying to reach with that extremely well done video, right? And so that's number one. It's catering to a different audience, and I don't think you want to be catering to other realtors. No, you want that video to be pushed out to people who are looking to buy from you, right? And so, as well as it may be, and as much attention as it may, get, I don't think it usually ends up where people want it to end up. Now, that's not the case all the time. Sometimes it does hit it on the nail and ends up on people's feeds where it's like, okay, wow, I just watched that video. That realtor seems cool. I love that video. I want to work with her or him, right? Another one you got to be careful with, but in terms of getting attention and probably keeping it, you will probably get a follow from that. I think it's great. I think it's great. I just wouldn't make that my whole personality, because people sometimes want to see that you're more human and not, produced. And so in terms of production videos, and this also, I would say, when it comes to YouTube, these are probably better in terms of getting clients from that, because YouTube, you see a well-produced video on YouTube, that will probably resonate with your audience more, and it'll probably keep their attention more. They'll probably want to watch more of your content after they see that well-produced video. And there is a trust factor there as well, especially if you are talking about the right things in that well-produced video. And so I will say, I believe that production videos work better on like platforms like YouTube rather than your Instagram and TikTok in terms of getting clients from it. In terms of getting, attention, I believe they're, 50-50. You can get a lot of attention on both. Now, for that reason, especially if you do it right, I will put production videos in tier B. Okay, I believe that's a good B spot. I've seen it work time and time again. I believe those are great videos. Now, walkthrough tours. Now, this right here, I tell you, this is my personal favorite. If you don't know what a walkthrough tour is compared to a property tour, I categorize walkthrough tour as you have a phone on a gimbal or a camera, right? And you walk the property, and it probably takes you about 3 to 6 minutes to walk the whole property, and you put a voiceover over it, or sometimes no voiceover works, but usually voiceovers do work better than not. And it's just a video with no type of cuts, no type of edits, just real raw footage showing a property and talking about it, right? Those type of simplistic videos absolutely get the most clients, in my opinion, especially if on your voiceover with those videos, you're saying all the right things, hitting all the right points. That's a whole nother video. I mean, a whole nother topic, right? It is a lot that goes into it, but it is very simple to learn, right? And so those walkthrough tour videos, those are absolutely gold mines. That's actually where I got most of my leads from. People love to watch those. They get a lot of attention. They keep attention because once you start outside of a property and you're slowly panning towards it, and it's just anticipation, right? People really anticipate. They really want to see what is going to be inside that home. So you got your visual effect, you got your text-based effect, you got your audio effect. And so it's all packaged into one. And people are just excited to see those because they're like, okay, what's next? What's next, right? And so walkthrough tours, I believe those are just gold mines. That is going in the S tier. I personally am a huge walkthrough tour fan. I've gotten the most results from that, and I believe you can too if you do it right. Yeah, walkthrough tours, S tier. Next, city updates. City updates are obviously different from your market updates. Now, these are more so whatever city you are in. You're talking about different things that are happening in and around the city. Different things that are to be or has happened. You're kind of like a reporter for that city, right? Whether you report about different things, whether you review different things around the city, just different city updates talking about, where people live. If you talk, and I know it sounds simple, but if you talk about where people live, if you talk about stuff that's going on around where people live, they will probably listen because they're like, okay, first of all, I live here. Why are you talking about my city? And from that point, they want updates. They love updates. Okay, it's simplistic, but not many people get that. Not many people think to do it. And so city updates, if you learn to talk about your city and what's going on in and around it, then you will most likely see something come out of it. Mainly those I see more follows than anything because that's something that really incentivizes people to follow you because they want those updates. And maybe you do get a client out of that, right? Because they see that you are updating them on the city. They learn to trust you. They learn to love you. And when they're ready to buy, sell, rent, whatever, they can probably go to you, right? And so city updates, I believe, are good, especially as lead magnets. I'd actually put city updates in the A tier, especially if all your other content is really doing it right. Now with this as well, I probably wouldn't make city updates your whole personality because people who are following you will probably want to see nothing but city updates. They probably won't care about your property tours or what you're doing as a realtor, buying, selling tips, because you'll lose your audience at that point. So try not to make that your whole personality, your whole persona on social media, but use that as a great tool to use to get those people to come to you, right? All right, next, just listed or just sold. Now, man, I'm not even gonna go too much into this, but if you are still one of those people who are posting a just listed or just sold graphic post, I just want you to know that people don't like that. People don't like that. You, as a realtor or real estate agent, you may like that, right? And your other realtor friends may like that. They may clap you on and congratulate you, but I guarantee you the general public who are looking to buy or sell or rent, they don't care. They simply don't care. First of all, they don't care. It probably won't get them in the door to want to work with you specifically. But also in terms of getting traction on your page or on your brand, those simply just don't work. It's a thousand, no, scratch that. It's a million other people doing the same thing. They're posting just listed or just sold content on these copy and paste, graphics. And personally, I'm sick of seeing them too. I'm sick of seeing them. And so other people, they don't like those. If you don't believe me, I guarantee you, go ask the general public what they think about your just listed or just sold posts, and you'll probably get the response that I'm giving you right now. Just listed, just sold. We're going in the D tier. Do I have an F tier? I wish I had an F tier because I'd put it in the F. Like I actually would. I'd put it in the F. If you are going to post a just listed or just sold, make it into a video. You might as well make it into a video at that point because you can reach more people and you can show people that, hey, look what I just did. I can do it for you too. Let me know. That's that's better than a simple graphic stale post. Just saying, I wouldn't recommend a video either, but if you're going to do that, at least do it in video form and make it a little bit more interesting and intriguing. That's my take on that. Now, lastly, we have neighborhood specifics. Now, this is more so there's city updates, right? That's where you're talking about the city, but the neighborhood, that's where you're breaking down different neighborhoods. What kind of schools are in there? What kind of, food and restaurants, entertainment are in that specific neighborhood. And this is more so for the relocation clients that you'll get. And I believe this is actually one of the ones that work well when it comes to long form content. That's your YouTube. And so if you do neighborhood specifics on, your TikTok, your Instagram, that works too, but it won't work as well as if you stretch that video out more and really educate people on a specific neighborhood, because people actually do go to YouTube a lot to learn about different neighborhoods. They go to Google, and YouTube is a search engine, and so they'll probably see your video if they're looking up a specific neighborhood or the best neighborhoods in that city. Then those are great topics to talk about. So if you do it right, those can work extremely well, both as lead magnets and getting views and getting clients. That's like a triple whammy right there. Neighborhood specifics, I love those, but they do, again, cater to only relocation, not only relocation, but mostly relocation clients. And for that, I will say I put it in the A tier. I'll actually put it in A tier. So that is my tier list. You can see my personal favorite in the S tier walkthrough tours. Yeah, let me know what you think about my tier list. If you have any different opinions about it, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, turn on post notifications. You will get a lot of content coming soon. Thank y'all for watching, and I hope you got something out of this. I will see y'all soon.